I think the idea that growing up in tough conditions is something that makes you stronger as a person, not always. Sometimes it's the aspect of your life that's a make it or break it deal. You could say me and my brothers came up in tough conditions, or you could say maybe we didn't. We were just three men, three young boys raised by a single mom. Now we're men today. One's got an addiction, one's homeless, and the other's in prison for some crazy shit. Sometimes a lot of situations that you're brought up in, the people you end up looking up to the most end up getting you fucked up. Certain people may have looked up to certain individuals who may have seemed strong at that time. Maybe they seemed smart at that time. Maybe they seemed like they had a little more figured out than everyone else around them. So people looked up to them, used these people as a role model. Maybe their role models like to smoke and drink and have a good time. And that's how they learn to, be an individual in this world. That's who they began to take after. Some people, they don't continue to learn, they don't continue to take in more information. They feel like they got everything figured all out, so they just stop growing at that point right there. And they feel as if the world should listen to them. A lot of times people use money as a gauge as to whether someone has life all figured out or not. There's a lot of very wealthy people that are just dumb as hell. They could not figure out how to cook something. They couldn't figure out how to do this or that. When you get reliant on paying other people to do things for you, it makes you dependent on those people. There's so many rich people that depend on their butlers and their maids and their servants to, keep them alive. You guys think Donald Trump can cook for himself? Nah. If you left this man alone in a home and he got bored and tried to cook a meal, he'd probably end up burning something down. You think this man can wash his own laundry? No. Chances are, if Donald Trump tried to do laundry, he'd end up filling the laundry up with too much soap. He wouldn't know how to turn it on or turn it off. He wouldn't know how long to dry his clothes for. He wouldn't know how to fold his clothes. One thing a lot of people don't talk about is our idea of entertainment after we get off of a day at work is a lot different than the idea of entertainment for somebody who has so much money that they can do whatever they want. We might watch all these different TV shows because it makes us feel like we're experiencing these different things. These are people who have traveled the world 15,000 times over. These are people who shoot up into rockets into space, and they look down at this and they're like, I'm not entertained enough yet. This is why a lot of people in the service industry end up getting abused, because the service industry really tries to hammer it in your head that the customer is always right and you better provide a good experience to that customer. Don't be rude, because you being rude reflects negatively on the restaurant. And a lot of these rich people will come in and they're spending a bunch of money and they're going to leave you a huge tip, but in the process they're going to break you down until you're nothing. And then they're going to tell you that you just need to grow a thick skin. Quit being so sensitive. Now you're starting to ruin our good time. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Whether you consider a woman beautiful or whether you consider a woman butt ugly, chances are that woman is probably dealing with some shit. Men are fucking weird. The real men that are chads, alphas, whatever, are just honest about what they want. They're not trying to play no games. It's like, I want some pussy. You gonna let me hit? And you gonna let him hit? Because there's 20 other guys that are too afraid to even approach a woman and ask her what her name is, say hi to her, comment on the lovely day that it is outside, be a normal fucking human being, have a normal interaction. They've just been staring at her from across the room for the past fucking hour. They're going around asking other people, oh, what's that chick's name? They be doing this passive aggressive shit. There's other guys online and thousands of them are sending these women messages like, hey there baby, you want to come over, I show you good time, I spend a lot of money on you are the love of my life. And there's some guys that are talking to her and they won't take no for an answer because they think she's the one. Of the other billions of women in the world, you're the only one. There's some women, every time they turn around, there's that same guy. It's like, well, what are you doing here? Oh, I've been following you. I just wanted to make sure that you're safe. Please let me know if you need anything. Just fucking crazy shit, man. There's a lot of problem with dating and relationships is, a lot of people, they're expecting to hit. They're trying to get a nut. They're trying to fuck right away as fast as they can, yada, yada, yada. But what's the point in all that if you can't even sit down and eat dinner with this person, if you can't even sit next to this person and enjoy that person's company, if you can't just sit next with this person and enjoy the stars and sunshine together? Well, now that I got my nut, this is a little bit awkward. And I think with a lot of women, they're just expecting way too much of men, and they almost want you to treat them like a prostitute, sorry to say. If you're a woman and you're focused on how much money a man has spent on you, and if you expect a man to take you out on a date so that you can give him the bussy and dress up nice and yada yada, that kind of makes you a prostitute in my eyes. When you say dating, it's just a prostitution, but a little more nicer way of saying it. I think American dating culture is so fucking weird anymore. It's like, oh, we all go out on these dates and then we just date this one person and we marry this one person and we have kids with this one person. People don't really understand that humans are supposed to be living in these communities. We're supposed to be traveling around the world and experiencing different things. There's not supposed to be this idea of nationalities and ethnicities and borders and boundaries. For fuck's sakes, we are all one earth. We are all human beings. Our heart beats the same. Our fucking lungs breathe the same. Our legs walk the same. Our hands grip the same. But yet we're all fucked up over these skin colors, these ideological differences, these differences in these metaphorical ideas. Republican is just a sound that's makes you think of a certain idea. Democrat is just a sound that makes you guys think of a certain idea, and the idea fucking sucks. Red, blue, because these are simple colors. These are for simple minds. Imagine how communities all got together before the goddamn news, and then they all watched the news, and then they got together. But then no community really gets together, and all these people are watching the news, they're watching social media, and we're not supposed to have this 24/7 365 feed of all this crazy shit that's happening around the world. So many people are straight up overstimulated with information and explosions and so much insanity just here on the internet. We're overstimulated with sex. There's all these women and their titties are out and their booties are out, their legs are out, they're shaking it. There's all these men with their goddamn shirts off and they're fucking flexing and they're wearing gray sweatpants with the cock shadow. Everyone's in this everyone's in this lower state of arousal. We don't understand. That's why the fuck we're so exhausted. How many people actually turn their phone off for an hour just to enjoy what's around them, enjoy a moment of fucking silence? How many people are just tuning in to Fox, listening to this bullshit, getting themselves all worked up over these imaginary fucking narratives? How many people are not even taking a deep breath, not even realizing that's why the fuck you feel anxious, because you don't get enough air into your body. You don't slow your breath down, because when you take deeper breaths, when you take slower breaths, it forces your body to relax. It is the very action of moving fast and breathing fast and being in this rush that creates the feeling of anxiety, adrenaline and cortisol, stress chemicals, arousal chemicals. Just take moments to Slow down. Slow down.